Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Sales Unscripted podcast. I am Margaret Henney.
I'm Brian Neal. You cold? You're rubbing your hands together.
Either that or I'm like an evil genius.
You're not evil. What is it? No, you're Kansas. That's just nothing. Just ignore that. Keep talking. Evil.
No,
genius.
it is. Well, you know when people do the rub their hands together.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that's a theater
you're
thing.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
No, I am a little bit cold. We had our first snow last
I
night.
love it so much. It's gonna snow more today.
I'm into it, actually.
Are you? I love it so much.
Yeah,
and I'm a holiday person. I just love it. It's fantastic.
I'm a summer baby. That's like my
I know
favorite
this. You're
season.
a water person.
I know, but when it comes at the beginning, there's like the whole magic of Christmas and winter. And like this morning, I look outside. I'm like a child, and I was like, "Babe, it snowed." Like as if it's Christmas Day.
Well, it kind of is.
It made me so happy. I turned on Christmas music. I'm going to decorate tonight.
Is this recording?
Freaking better be.
Oh, yeah, it is. Just making sure. Ta-da! We did that one. I just want to make sure, because, the audio's good, the video's good. It's up here. It's recording. We're good.
We've done
so, yeah, we're here. It'll be our second year anniversary?
It's our second year
like
anniversary.
We're finishing our second year, right?
You know what?
In January.
Are we on? Are we close to 100 episodes?
Are we really? I didn't even know that.
I'm gonna
Century
have to,
Club?
I should know this.
Did you do the Century Club in college?
Is that
where
where
you do 100
like,
shots
take
of beer or something like that?
Or
I've
something?
never done even close to that.
No, I would die.
Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? I just think, I don't know. I look at like drinking games. Like, what is the point? I know what the point is.
Yeah,
but do we really need that? We seem to do fine without the games.
I know.
That's the part I don't. I know.
Do you think that's a purely American thing? Because we love
What a great question. If we have listeners outside of the United States, we'd love to know. Are drinking games part of the culture? They have to be. Because most people outside of the U.S. think we're idiots because, we drink to oblivion and we don't start till we're 21. So we have this pent up stuff. So anywho, can I show you a picture? Now we're going to have Nick put this picture up for our listeners, but I want to show you a picture and I want to see, this is a picture that my daughter drew when she was in elementary school. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? It's very, very simple, right?
She did that?
No, hang on. No, she didn't.
Oh, okay.
But it's pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But okay. So do you know what this picture is?
No.
You don't know this picture is. I'm going to flip the page now, and I'm going to have you read what it says.
Okay.
Will you read it? So this is a picture.
Yeah.
You'll see the picture. Pretty basic. Yeah, simple.
Yeah,
Here we
but
go.
it could also be very like high modern art.
Read that.
Okay, let's see. Who is this name?
I have no idea. Just read it.
Mark Rothko's Untitled, Yellow and Blue became the third most valuable Western artwork ever sold in Asia, achieving $253 million.
Okay. I'm sorry. I respect art and artists and everything. Now, you could have understood that my daughter could have painted that, correct?
No, 100%.
I mean, you're like, that's really good, but it's like, okay, yeah, it's a blue, and like, I think I could probably do that, in my basement.
You think?
$253 million. I just don't understand.
You know what this is?
And I'm very respectful of art. I'm not trying to.
I love art.
I see artists where I see someone. Art. Is that what this is? I don't even know.
I would call that modern art. Mm-hmm.
Ay. And then, oh my God. And then I see these. I was in this this place in Half Moon Bay, where this little art shop, this gallery.
I saw you guys were there.
Oh man, it's brilliant.
That
you ever been to Half Moon Bay?
No,
oh my God,
it looks great.
So yummy. And there's this art that's so intricate, and I'm like, good God, that's so amazing how they do these little lifts of the canvas and this intricate detail.
Yeah.
And it's for sale for $1,000. And this freaking thing. Now the art snobs are gonna be like, oh, how dare you call a Rothko a friggin' thing? Okay. Well, it's just common sense, man. I'm $253 million. Then I'm like, who bought it?
Exactly.
It's got to be a billionaire or an organization that has $1 billion endowment.
Right.
And then what? I mean, and then I get this right. I get real bent.
No. What?
I'm stereotyping.
Yeah, let's hear it.
A lot of people who are into art are also into other things about helping the world and giving.
Do you know where that money could go?
Is there something else we could do with the 250? Could we just take 50 million and do a school program for kids who can't eat?
Dude, I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
That drives me nuts.
Hopefully they're doing that too. I bet they probably are. So. But like I would call this a classic case of Emperor's New Clothes.
Oh.
Where like the Emperor's New Clothes, the whole thing where they tricked the emperor and told him they were weaving the most amazing thing. Dude standing out there naked.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
But they said anyone who can't see it is like an idiot. So nobody wanted to say anything until a kid is like, that guy's in his skivvies. It's just like that with art, I feel like, because all these fancy people say it's amazing and important. And I want to be like, is it though, guys?
I know. I just can't get there.
I know.
I can't get there. It's a battle. Anyway, so whoever bought the Rothko for $253 million, congratulations. And then the other funny part to me is there's someone that's sitting at home that bid $252, and they're going, damn it, we lost the Rothko. Like, what happened? I don't know. Some asshole bid $253. We were at $252. Like, what?
Lucked out.
Anyhow, go ahead. So we got a topic today. Our topic is how do we connect our personal feelings about ourselves to our results, because we were talking pre-show that we both know people who have a very direct correlated relationship between how they think of themselves and their self-worth and their self-image to their results.
Exactly.
It's a thing a lot of people deal with.
It's a particularly timely thing, I feel like, around the holidays when we're seeing friends, we're seeing family. You know, maybe you might be feeling some type of way. And also, usually, it is a difficult time in the sales cycle because we're already getting people pushing us off to January, right? We know that right now we're trying to close as much business as possible. If you haven't listened to our episode on what's your
Q4 Deal Accelerator?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go back and listen to it. It's a great time to do it. But it is a time where if things are going well, you're like, oh, I get to be present with people. I get to enjoy. And if you're not, it adds another layer of anxiety to the holiday season. So I thought it was timely that we talked about our self-worth.
Yes. Yep. And just how you process the end. The end is clear. It's not near, it's clear. So you know what kind of year you just had. Exactly. Even though this is going out in November, right before Thanksgiving in the United States, everybody knows where you're going to land. Right? You have a couple deals here and there, but you pretty much know. And that's for you either going to be good or bad.
Right.
You know, maybe a meh, but you know, for the most part, you're like, boy, I killed it. I made all this money. Or like, good guy, there was a tough year, didn't make shit and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so then what do you do? How do you process all that? So let's talk about that a little bit. So what's your, now I said, I brought up some people that we know, and then you brought up someone, but you didn't say yourself. And I said, I didn't say myself. So how do you deal with this?
Well, it's something that for me, I don't know, for good or for bad, work has never been the most important thing in my life. And so, and not to say that for people where you are tied to this, it is the most important thing in your life, but I feel like this is one area that I actually have really good perspective on, where if things aren't going well, I'm not making my goal, hey, I might feel some type of way about it, but it's not going to get me down to the point where I start having some of those really bad self-talk conversations. I'm worthless. I'm not good enough. I should be embarrassed of myself. And what's interesting, I just did a quick little chat GPT search and I was like, I wonder which Enneagram types are most susceptible to their self-worth being tied to this. Do you have a guess?
It's 3.
It's the first one is 3.
The 3s, I know.
And the
funny,
3s. 3s are achievers. And guess what is the most popular sales Enneagram?
3.
It's a 3.
There you go.
So I think this is probably pretty pervasive. I'm a 9, which is a peacemaker.
Yeah.
And so I probably don't have quite as much technically drive as a 3 does. So what they make up for in other areas, you know, I actually, when it comes to this, I've got a little bit more balance, and it's usually just perspective, looking at other areas of my life and knowing that everything is cyclical. Nothing is going to stay all good or all bad. Even if I'm in a place of things going well, like let's say I'm having a great month, I know that's going to go away too.
Yes.
So
it's really good. Good, Margaret.
Yeah,
you do have a really good perspective there.
That's
brilliant.
It. What
and
about
I didn't know you were 9.
I didn't know
9. I didn't know that. I probably could have guessed that if I would have thought about it. I don't know the Enneagram well enough to do that.
Yeah.
I'm a 7.
See, okay.
Why?
Okay,
You want to be a 7 and you're not?
Yes, exactly. I'm like, okay, talk about self-worth issues. I can't even embrace my own Enneagram type because I'm like, I'm not a 9. I am.
Well, no, I'm strong and I'm a leader and I'm a visionary.
Well, and 7s are so charismatic.
You are.
And everybody wants to be with a 7.
Before we went going.
You did.
Before we started going. Really, it was Margaret's birthday. She had some great, beautiful pictures of her and her husband on social media. I'm like, you should like be like a model when you dress up, like a dress up, like you know, like a up. And you showed me the picture that your mom wore when she was 40. Yeah, it was so awesome. Yeah. So you are
Thank you.
But not in the Enneagram, girl.
But not in the.
Sorry, you're not.
Exactly. I always want to be a 7. So anyway, if you guys don't know your
funny.
Enneagram type, look it up. It's really interesting. If you're in sales, I would bet you might be a 3. It's a lot of achievers. So as your type, as a 7, is that connected somehow to how you think about your self-worth in how you're performing?
No. I should say no. It can create some angst depending upon the level of how bad it can. And believe me, I've been bankrupt before, so I know it can get really bad.
Yeah.
The holidays became just like a numbing process. I just want to get away from it, back in the day. Now, doing okay. And I think the processing now for me, if things aren't going well, becomes a creative exercise to how to get them going better.
Okay. All right.
And so that's the outlet, which is actually fun to think about. It's almost fun to have like a problem to think about. Now I don't like to bring problems to myself, but if we missed our goal for some reason, my brain goes to, okay, how can we not miss it? What can we do? What do we do wrong? What can we do right? It's more like that.
Okay.
But it doesn't beat up. It's not like, oh, we suck, and it's not.
Yeah,
that.
just that bad self-talk.
Yeah.
You're like more like I would call it almost like an engineer mind. A
little bit,
right?
yeah,
Where you're
totally.
like, let's tinker with the problem. How
Absolutely.
can we fix this?
Yes.
That's great.
And it's also, I think the downstroke on the 7 side can be a little bit too much. And you said this in your own way, which I do believe, though. Everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
And so thinking that everything's going to be okay. You've got seasons. You go up and down. You have good years, bad years, and you just do.
Exactly.
I love the Dan Sullivan, who owns Strategic Coach, and I spent a couple of years in that program, talks about measuring backward.
Oh, okay.
That's a thing to do if you're beating yourself up, or thinking, man, I had a crappy year and da-da-da-da. You need to measure backward to help your perspective. That doesn't mean this year even. It can mean, gosh, 4 years ago, I was 30 and, I made, 58 grand. Okay. Well, now I'm 35 or 34 and I just made 120.
Yeah.
That's a nice jump.
Yeah,
now you were trying to make 150.
Okay.
But you made 120. But that's still, geez, look where you came from. You doubled your income in just 2.5 years. That's pretty good.
I like that. That's
people
great.
Forget to measure backward past the year they're in.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yep. That's
most
a really
people
good
just
call.
like look at this year like, oh, this year sucked, and I lost that deal, and they didn't renew, and blah blah blah. You got to look past that. Go backwards.
I would also encourage people of any Enneagram type, but I do think it could be particularly helpful for the 3s. If you guys haven't read the book, The Obstacle is the Way.
I haven't read that book.
Oh my
Who wrote that?
God. I'll think of it here in a second. He also wrote Ego is the Enemy and a couple other unbelievable reads. These are these kind of books too that you don't have to read, cover to cover. You can go in, dive into chapters that really jump out to you. I'll think of his name here eventually. Unbelievable read. Right no. Go ahead, just tell us.
No, I'm gonna wait till see if you can get it.
Ego is the enemy, and his. Or ego is the enemy.
You know what I also love when people listening to this know it and they are screaming it. I do that in my radio. I'm like, it's da-da-da.
You tell me. I'm not gonna think of it.
Oh, his name is very timely right now.
Something to do with the seasons?
Really close.
Oh my God! Why the only name I could come
and
up
it's
with
like
is Dan Brown, who wrote Da Vinci Code.
It's like close to my name and seasonal.
Oh my God, these clues.
Close to my name. I mean, there's only one name that's close to my name.
Brian and Brett.
No,
and,
no, way closer. What? One letter off. Come on, I'm sitting.
Ryan Holiday.
See, you got it. We high-fived.
Whoa, let's go, 40-year-old brain.
It was good. It worked, didn't it? Right?
I like it. Okay, cool.
What's that medicine you take for? Or it's a supplement for
something
people's
for
brain.
Alzheimer's?
Yeah, well, it's like for memory.
I don't know.
They advertise it. Maybe I'm watching different TV than you are. You forget.
No, it's by Ryan Holiday. And I'll tell you what's cool is it reframes, not only is it incredibly helpful and I think tactical, because for me, I love to think about things in theory, but sometimes I tend to get stuck in theory and then be like, oh wait, now I actually have to apply that and do something about it. So he has both theory and tactical, but it helps you reframe things where it's like, hey, these problems, basically the idea is this is where growth happens.
Yeah.
You cannot grow and change and improve if you do not come up against an obstacle. It doesn't happen. And so looking at it as an opportunity, which is easy to say depending upon what kind of challenge you're having.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's really, really inspiring.
That's really great.
Yeah.
The obstacle's the way. Mm-hmm. So can we go the other side of this issue?
Yeah, let's.
What if I had a real awesome year?
Ooh.
What if I went, 180% over my quota?
Hell yeah.
I took my income, up to, $940,000, and I'm sitting here going, man, I'm pretty damn good here.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, go ahead.
I
had an idea.
Do it.
I was going to say same answer. Measure backwards.
Right.
Like, is that what you were going to say?
Not exactly, but I love it.
I mean,
we don't have to agree. You're the peacemaker. Can we agree? You were going to say that too, right? Yeah. It's such a 9.
God. Okay, you're right.
Is that okay? I can change my mind.
Are we good?
I can change my mind.
Opinion.
I don't have to be. That's what a 9 is. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Okay, yeah, sure.
Oh my God,
yeah.
You're right.
It's a 9. That is such a 9. That was funny.
That
was funny. That's
Good
okay.
That
was funny.
But really it is great to measure backwards.
We both say the same thing. Woo, Sales Unscripted. 2 brains, 2 mouths, 1 thought.
Oh my God, I love it. But because
hilarious.
It's still really helpful to take a look and be like, okay, why? Because that I would tend to rest on my laurels and be like, I freaking killed it. Let's go. And then not be like, why did I kill it? It feels like some kind of magic stardust that just like happened. But we know that that's not necessarily true, right? Even things that feel like they fell in your lap, they probably did for a reason.
100%.
Maybe it was a referral, or maybe it was an upsell from someone that you had a great relationship with, or putting in the work, whatever it is. I almost guarantee you can tie that back to some work or effort or skill building that you did before.
There's no doubt. You've got to give some attribution. Marketing word. I mean,
attribution. Look at you.
Big marketing word there.
Let's
Thank you very much. Which I actually hate the concept, but I understand. There's just what you said. Mm-hmm. I've got a client who I think is a listener. I know his boss is a listener. He'll probably forward it now. He'll listen to this, I think. The joke, he guys performs really well, and his what I would say sometimes envious teammates will say things like, well, yeah, he's got a deal bucket. He just like goes out to the barrel and gets the deal, but he just fall into his lap. And he's like, yeah. And you know what he says? He's like, I do. I just have a deal, but I just open the deal bucket. He says stuff like that. But he's playing simpleton there. Like
totally.
He's very strategic, very out in his market. And I think he believes those things. He believes it.
Yeah.
He believes he does have a deal bucket.
Well,
so,
what a great mindset to have,
exactly.
right?
Why not?
Like, and you can get to that place where you have almost like a lead gen engine running behind you for yourself, but you've got to do the work to get there. Like, I'm thinking about Dustin at our company, and he seems like the same thing, right? That he just sort of pulls out of his bud. And you're like, where did this come from? But I'll tell you what, that man did the work, and he was grinding the relationships, all of that. And then that pays off later in your career. And you know what? Good for you.
Totally.
Like, you did what you needed to do to get there. Like, you should be able to enjoy that success.
Amen. And it just keeps building on itself.
Exactly.
It's really, really great.
I would caution people, though, just to think about kind of the same thing, that the same way that we don't want to get in that mindset when things are down, that they'll always be down. Same thing when things are up. You don't want to imagine that honey pot is going to like continue to be there forever, no matter what.
Right.
We've got to keep moving, as we know in sales, depending upon, are you working by month or quarter or year, but you always start at 0 at some point again, right? So just remember that. Stay humble.
That's so. Stay humble. It's a song, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So if you're in the mode, which everyone will be at sales, this year's ending. It's going to end.
Yep.
And then you're going to have a result, really good or really bad or medium, whatever the result is.
Yep.
I think from this episode, you're just taking inventory of like, okay, let me just look back on that, look forward a little bit, and not get too wrapped up either way in it. And for God's sakes, just rest a little bit. Just take a little time and be with your family. I don't even care what holidays you celebrate.
Right.
This is just a great time of year. First snowfall. I know it doesn't snow everywhere, but I love the quietness of the snow. I went for a walk this morning. It was really windy, which is fine, but it's just, God, it's so quiet. It just muffles the world a little bit, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Snow does. Man, it's nice.
It sort of mimics, this is totally off topic, but I love this. The way that you go and you like for a nice hike in the woods, and it feels like you're almost like, oh my God,
hiking.
what? Oh my God, you should.
How long have you known me?
Oh my God.
You think I go in the woods?
You call it a forest bath.
Oh my
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Churchill would do this when he needed to calm his mind. He would go for forest baths.
I'd rather walk on Legos than go to a forest bath.
I love a forest bath. No, it's so great. It's really calming. And snow walks
makes
are
me
the same.
extremely stressed out. I'm worried about getting ticks and bugs all over me. It's hotter than hell. I have a little empathy for the guy that doesn't like the woods. I love walking by the ocean.
Oh, okay.
It's really nice and open. Exactly. Like I did that last week. I'll show you pictures from Half Moon Bay when we're done with this episode.
Nice,
so have a great end of the year. Like just reflect a little bit and don't beat yourself up too bad. Don't think you're better than you really are. Just be with it and just enjoy some time and just reflect, and then we'll start nice and fresh in January.
Exactly. And know that, like you said, no matter where you end, a clean slate is coming.
It's coming.
And a clean slate, I think, always feels good.
No choice.
All right.
No choice. All right, cheers. See you next time.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Bye.